Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Gig Life with Lexi here. Gig workers could see smaller tax returns in 2023. It's not something to be alarmed about, but it is something to be aware of. So I'm just going to jump into this article, and this is coming from the IRS. So consumers already being squeezed by the highest inflation in generalization or in a generation and facing a recession, okay, may not even have a big tax refund to look forward to in 2023. That's why it'll be important to pay even closer attention to your tax return to ensure you get the tax refund you can. Accountants say the IRS warned on Tuesday that tax refunds may be smaller, and that's because there was no stimulus payment in 2022. Additionally, it noted a pandemic-era exception in 2020, so there was an exception in 2020 and 2021 that allowed those taking the standard deduction to claim a tax deduction of up to $300 for cash donations to charity. So I don't know if you remember that, but that has not been extended, okay? So that is something that is done away with now. So the only way to write off gifts to charity is to itemize. Okay, so for example, let's say you give a box of clothes to charity every year. Last year and the year before, you were able to do that, to write that off as a standard deduction. But this year, you have to itemize on your taxes in order to claim that deduction. Okay, so that can be alarming to millions of Americans who rely on tax refunds for large purchases, savings, investments, or paying off debt. In 2022, 46% of taxpayers said they were relying on their refunds to do some of those things, a Lending Tree survey showed. Tax experts say, however, that you shouldn't worry yet. There are still many tax benefits, credits, deductions, and many ways to pay the minimum amount of taxes you owe and get the biggest refund you can, said Mark Steber at Jackson Hewitt. So, what are some basic tax preparation steps to take now? Okay, so it says to get organized. You don't have to be super organized, a file cabinet and records valet, you don't have to do all that. So a simple method would be like a shoebox method or a large envelope, something like that, where you can just throw all your tax stuff in for the year. I just use a large envelope, and that can just help you stay organized. Okay, to make it more accurate and less stressful for you. So when it comes down to filing taxes, you're not so stressed out. You know all those papers are going to be in one area. Okay, so organize your information into 4 simple sections. Okay, so they would prefer you organize them income items, deductions and credit items, life changes, and last year's tax returns. So that's organizing your information. Prepare your help. Taxes can be complicated and difficult to understand, so make sure you or your tax professional leverage good tax technology when doing your return. If you use a professional, make sure the person is trusted, trained, and experienced. Okay, what are some tax changes you need to know this year? Okay, so this applies to gig workers, okay? So people who have part-time work, side hustles, or just sell the occasional goods on Etsy or eBay will need to look for Form 1099-K. Okay, so if you sell, or anyone who sells $600 or more on in a calendar year of services or goods, and also if you accept payments on Venmo, PayPal, debit or credit cards, this applies to you. Okay, so you'll receive a 1099-K with these transactions, and this, they're saying you have to report your income to the IRS or risk an automatic audit. Okay, so that's something you really want to be careful of. You don't want to get audited. Who wants to do that? Who wants to go through all that, right? So this is coming from a vice president of PIASIC, a certified public accounting firm. Okay, the next thing is, this change came from passage of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Before that, the reporting threshold was for taxpayers with more than 200 transactions worth a total above $20,000. So gifts to charity can be written off only if you itemize your deductions, just like I said before, itemize. This contrasts with the last 2 years when those taking the standard deduction could claim a tax deduction of up to $300 for cash donations to charity. Okay, so this is different. What are some tips to lower your tax bill or get a bigger refund? So what you can do is check your eligibility for the premium tax credit, a refundable credit that helps eligible individuals and families cover the premiums for their health insurance. Okay, so this is something purchased through the health insurance marketplace. Refundable credit means that if the credit exceeds the amount of taxes owed, you're refunded the difference. Okay, so check that out. And for taxpayers, or for tax years 2021 and 2022, eligibility was temporarily expanded by eliminating the rule that a taxpayer with household income above 400% of the federal poverty line cannot qualify for a premium tax credit. If you received unemployment compensation at all during the year, your income automatically qualifies. Okay, so that's something that you need to be aware of. Check eligibility for the clean vehicle credit. Now this is for people that have the electric vehicles, okay, which is very far few and in between here with most of us. Anyway, it says though, buyers of certain electric vehicles can benefit from the federal tax credit of $7,500. Harvest losses. Go through your investment holdings and you're likely to find some losses this year. If you sold at a loss, you can use that to reduce your taxable capital gains and possibly offset up to $3,000 of your ordinary income. Okay, then it says if you have more losses, the excess will carry forward and you can use it next year. So you just have to remember to use those items or to use them. Okay, so how early should I file my taxes? Now, it's advice accountants give every year. Basically, they say file as early as you can once tax season opens, and typically in late January. And here's why. They're saying typically 3 out of 4 taxpayers get refunded each year, and 2022 will probably be the same. So if you file early, you lock up your personal data with the IRS and the states. So no one can file a fake tax return and try to steal your refund. Okay, so that's something interesting there. Filing early will protect you from having that happen. If you file early and your tax professional finds another deduction or credit that might need some new or more data, you have time to get those records and you won't be up against a last-minute deadline. So if you owe money and you file early, you can still pay at midnight on the last day when taxes are due and still file your tax return and protect your data. Filing your taxes and paying your taxes don't have to be done at the same time. Okay, the IRS warned this week that taxpayers shouldn't rely on receiving their refund this year by a certain date. So don't count on it like last time. It won't be there on a certain date, especially when making major purchases or paying bills, because some returns may require additional review and may take longer. Yeah, lovely, right? Okay, so that pretty much sums it up here with these updates. Just make sure you're doing these things, and I just didn't want you guys to go, to be alarmed or anything like that. So if you do see a smaller tax return, you'll know what's going on. It's because there was no stimulus in 2022. Okay, so all right guys, that's it. That is my quick update for you today, and I hope you guys are doing well. Drive safe out there, and I will see you in the next video. All right, bye.